Hi folks, Doc here. Had a lot of inquiries lately from you folks about the general state of Sprocket's garage in Area 51. And you know, it's nice to know that some of you are paying attention and some of you care and some of you are watching, and I thank you for that. Lately things have still been just a little bit off kilter. I've still been kind of busy trying to get stuff squared away. Those of you that have been paying attention on Facebook, I had to get another vehicle because my Dodge blew up. Dodge. Anyways, got that squared away. Got a nice 03 Trailblazer that's in pretty good condition. Good to go there. Still working stuff out, still trying to find time, but I've learned something. I've learned that instead of trying to find time for the things that are important to me and find time for the things, you know, that are going to give me some mental rest and wrenching and, you know, just generally relaxing and getting off and taking her easy, instead of finding time for these things, I'm going to have to make time for these. So I'm going to start making time for these. In the last couple of weeks I haven't had the ability to make time for a lot of these things, but I'm trying. So I've done some groundwork outside of Area 51 here, and I've done a little bit of starter work inside of Area 51. For those of you that have been paying attention, there was a lot of stuff just generally piled outside the shop here that's been sorted out and tidied up, and there have been dump runs and organizing and stuff. And if I can direct your attention over here, it's damn near time to call my scrap guy. We've got a pile of stuff here that's good to go. Kind of neat, I unearthed that motorcycle in here, and you know, off the top of my head in the course of recording, no, I can't remember what it was, but it was a neat old triple. It's too bad she's gone. It was a Yamaha, and was pretty sought after from what I can understand, but right now it's scrap. Inside the shop, I did manage to find a little bit of floor space, and I got rid of this neat old oil burning furnace. It's kind of a shame that it's shot to death too, but it's spent 40 years not being used and the last several being rained on inside. That's no good. So she's gone, and I have at least temporarily jammed the wood stove into place, and we're just going to go ahead and pop in and take a look and see what we can get into for today, if you'll care to follow me in. Let there be light. So as you can see, there's actually a floor in here, which is a good start. There's still a lot of stuff to be dealt with. God, there's so much stuff. Ideally, if I could have maybe a 3 or 4 bay shop consisting of, oh, I don't know, about 2,000 or 2,500 square feet, that would be fantastic. That's also not going to happen. So, you know, you work with what you got, and what I got here is pretty good. She needs some love, but she's pretty good. You can probably see that I've jammed a bunch of stuff up into the rafters. If you want to just have a look around in there, I know it's kind of difficult to see, but I managed to get some things out of the way so I just don't have to deal with them right now. Today's focus, I think, is going to be on relocating this workbench. I originally had thought to just maybe leave it where it was and build another workbench, or tear it out and do away with. And it's pretty solid. It's an old bench, but you know, somebody built the top out of like 2x6s and then sheeted it in a thin ply. I might skin it with some metal later, but I'll worry about that later. However, the location is not my idea of ideal. There's no window there yet. There may be at some point, but as you can tell in here, lighting is at a premium. I'm going to have to get some fluorescent fixtures or something. In the meantime, I've decided that it would serve me best to relocate that workbench under this beautiful window here, get me a little bit more natural light, and, you know, put the bench a little bit less in the corner and a little bit more in a central location where I can work with it. So in the meantime, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to move everything around again. Musical boxes and musical tools, and, you know, when the music stops, drop. I'm going to have to fire some stuff outside and ultimately get that bench over here, cut the legs down about 6 inches because it's a little bit too high for the windows right now, and get it re-secured to the wall and ultimately jam everything back in. This is going to be entertaining. I'll check in with you later. Okay, so we're well on our way to making this happen. Cleared a bunch of stuff outside in the short term anyways. I'm going to have to move it right on back inside when we're done this operation. But I found the wall. Look at that. Yay! So our workbench is 8 feet long, and it's going to go from between these two studs to this one here, and it's 30 inches deep, which is going to take us to right about here. So that's going to give me some wall section that I can hang some stuff on, and it's going to give me some under storage, and I think the compressor is going to go underneath the bench with the hose reel on the wall adjacent to it, and probably the generator under there, and we'll figure out the rest later. Meantime, back at the farm, I've got to clear a little bit more stuff out of the way and cut that bench away from the wall. I think it's just nailed to the studding, which means out comes the recip saw, I think. And then once we get it out, we'll take some final measurements. I think I've got to take 4 inches out of the legs to get it to the right height. We'll screw a cleat to the studs on the wall over here and set her in. And we're free. Alright, so I've got the legs shortened down, and got to get a cleat on the wall to rest the back end of the workbench off. So we're just going to transfer my marks across. Now the floor is at a level, so I'm probably going to have to shim or otherwise adjust one of the legs. That can come later. Whoops. I only had one fresh 2x4. So unfortunately I can't span the whole thing, but I'm going to have to pull this stuff apart in order to insulate the wall when I'm ready, so I don't feel too bad that this isn't going to be you know, full time, so to speak. It's got to come apart. And I'm not too worried about it for now. So we're just going to put in enough screws to basically allow the workbench to do what I need it to do in the short term. No sense going crazy if I got to rip it apart again. Okay, so with those in place, I can manhandle the bench into position and see where things land. Today would have been a good day to have some help. I had some help, but my help had to go. So now I'm trying to finagle a big old wooden workbench solo. Get this to drop on the cleat, hopefully, maybe. Back and forth, eh? Almost there. There we go. Tuck her in under the window frame. Bueno. That's pretty good. Okay, fantastic. So that ended up pretty much right where I want it. I'm going to have to get everything screwed into place, but I can open up these fantastic windows. Now, of course, I've got to clear the workbench to open up the windows. That's kind of a liability, but I think later on I'm going to address the possibility of switching it around so the windows open outward, which is really what I'd like to do. It seems a little bit more practical to me. In the meantime, I'm going to fire a couple of screws in here and call it. So, with the workbench in place, you can see that work is already kind of commenced. I got the drill out, got some tools out. I've just been doing some stuff, shoving crap around, storing some things in resting places that might be. Got the toolbox into an accessible location against the wall, and I got the drill press cart beside that. Not sure if that's going to be the final place for that, but there it sits. And just from there, I'm slowly starting to pack stuff back in here. This corner is going to wind up kind of cluttered for a while, but there's not much I can do about that. I still need a few things to be relocated and find homes for them. What I'm doing now is exceptionally boring. All that plastic vapor barrier that's draped over the shelf ultimately is going to go under the ceiling. And, well, what the heck, I've started pulling out all those 8 million nails that did not get previously pulled out. So I'm kind of doing that now. Since the pulling of the nails is about the most boring job you can possibly imagine, I am not going to hit you with the details of it, because it'll be 14 hours of yank, 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 yank. I'll spare you that. For now, I guess that's about it for the video fodder. I just wanted to thank you guys for asking your questions and finding out what's up and looking for updates. Thanks for tuning into Sprocket's Garage on YouTube and watching and sharing and subscribing and all that stuff. And don't forget about the Sprocket's Garage Facebook page. That's Sprocket's Garage on Facebook. All kinds of mechanical stuff. Free to join. Knock yourself out. Post your brains out. And also don't forget to head over to Sulphur City Design to feed your adhesive addiction. Links in the description section. Until next time, take care of yourself. Okay, I think we're lingering a little long. That's alright. The magic of editing. You're not going to see this part. Ha ha!